What is going on, party people? Welcome to another exciting adventure of the Captain's Log. My name is Kyle Springer.
And I'm Paul Kang.
And we are the Whatnauts.
You're goddamn right we are.
Yeah.
Arr.
This is episode 2 of the Captain's Log. Remember we relaunched the numbering of
Oh, yeah.
So we're taking the comic book route and making it extra confusing for everyone. But yeah.
Exactly.
On this show, Paul and I just kind of sit back, relax, talk about life, whatever the hell we want. Coming up, though, Paul, you had a movie that you wanted to talk about. It was a rom-com from 2001. You're going to have to remind me of the name. I don't have my Skype pulled up at the moment.
It's called Serendipity with John Cusack and Kate Beckinsale.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
2001, so literally 17 years ago.
Damn.
Sarah and I, we were came back home, and I was like, "Want to watch a movie?" You know, she's like, "Oh, you want to watch a movie?" She's like, "Yeah, I want to watch a movie." I'm like, "Sweet." So like, you know, I'm like, I feel like watching fantasy. She was like, "Me too." So we go on my laptop. We're go to Netflix and type in fantasy. There's like nothing. I mean, there's everything, but you're like, it's not for us. And what happens next is like, when there's too much choice, you can't make a choice.
Yeah.
It's like the worst and best thing about Netflix. And so, yeah, we're just trying to find a movie, and then suddenly I was like, let's just do. Like, how do you feel about rom-com? Because you literally cannot find anything. I'm like, sure. So it's having rom-com. And, there's all these ones. And I see one that says Serendipity. I'm like, oh, shit. I watched that when I was, like, 15, like 14. I was like, oh, wow, this looks really good. And she's like, yeah, I've heard about that one, but I haven't seen it. I was like, oh, you'll like it. Because I remember liking it a lot.
Paul, are you like a secret rom-com connoisseur?
No, I haven't seen it,
man.
man.
I don't know about.
Like, I'm out of the closet. I love that shit. Like, because I had two older sisters, and so like,
True.
I grew up watching rom-coms, and like hearing them talk about it, and I was like, oh, I see your point. So now I'm like kind of into rom-coms myself. Like, they're nice.
Cool.
Not hurting anyone. So I was like, let's watch this. She was like, yeah, cool. And, we're cuddling. There's this big bed. We're alone. Lots of blankets. It's kind of cold outside. We're like, this is great. So we're cuddling, getting really close. So we start watching it. And the entire movie, I remembered it well because I was like, this is what I was looking for. Just like a clean, fun, well-made movie. It's a well-made movie. Like, the cuts are great. Incredible actors,
Mm-hmm.
John Cusack's always good. Kate Beckinsale, she's all right. Jeremy Piven, just good acting, good cuts, good characters. Like, it's just a. I know this is not our usual movie. We usually discuss, like, dramas and comic books, and let's just do the rom-com this one time. It was not bad. I heartily enjoyed it. It was an hour and a half long, perfect length.
Sounds good.
Just, yeah. And I was just kind of like, this is fun. And, like, it's really funny because the whole movie is about coincidences. Serendipity means, like, a happy accident, And,
yeah.
How people are like, man, that's too far-fetched. That's too much of a cliche, or it's, it feels too written. This whole movie is about the fact that our fate is written. You know what I mean? So, they get away with it. And they just, like, you just see how, far off and crazy, because it's like a fantasy movie. We actually set out and did what we were trying to do. We watched the fantasy movie because you're watching fate bring these two people together. One of them lives in San Francisco. The other one lives in New York.
There
it's
you
like,
go. Well,
Jesus
hey,
Christ.
Before you continue on with that, let me interrupt really fast. Also, down the road on the show, you're going to hear about some of the comics that I've been diving to down the
Oh,
road.
sorry.
But if you are joining us live on Twitch, thank you guys for checking out the show. Go ahead and give us a follow, because we are trying to get past 50 followers so we can get that subscribe button, and hopefully you guys can start subscribing to the show, helping us out, giving us some money that way. But if you missed the live stream, this will be up as a podcast and on YouTube next week. But yeah. So let's get back to what you were talking about. That's fine. You were like, I am ready to go. Let's talk about this. But yeah, so you liked it. It ended up being a fantasy movie, like you had started out.
Yeah, and like Sarah and I, like, it's a movie about coincidence. But then the character in the movie, she never gives her name to the main character. She only gives him like her first name, and her name is Sarah, and not with an H, but Sara, which is my girlfriend's name exactly. And I was like, oh shit, and she's like, whoa, and also brunette, also white, and I was like, Jesus, it was just weird. And the male character is kind of like me, just kind of like, what's the point? That kind of person.
I, like God, do not play with dice.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I don't know, it was weird to watch a normal movie for once. Do you know what I mean by that? Like, the reason why I brought it up is not because I really want to talk about the movie, but I want to talk about, we so go out of our way to watch cool shit. Kinda. Like, oh my God, like I'm gonna rewatch, I don't know, like the new Black Panther trailer TV spot, like for the 8th time in a row. And I'm like, can't you just take that time and do something else normal?
I think we end up, just like sticking with our comfort zone, even within the Whatnauts, right? Like as much as we try to mix it up, like I haven't pitched a rom-com. The only one that we can kind of say is a rom-com is Canon, which we all know how that went.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, I'm open to the idea of doing stuff like that on the Whatnauts. You want to watch, like the first season of Mad About You. Like, let's figure it out. Let's do it.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's really like, I don't know. It just felt weird because I was like, I haven't watched a normal Hollywood movie in a long time. Wait, everything's catered to my desires.
Yeah. How often do you watch stuff outside of the show? Like watch stuff or read stuff? You just like, how often do you think you do that?
I listen more to podcasts more than anything.
Okay.
I feel like I don't have time to sit down watch a movie anymore, or when I do, I don't really want to. I'd rather be, But I think we're so focused on having all of our needs catered to us. Like, if I want to know about how everyone hated The Last Jedi, I know exactly where to look, and I know it's waiting for me. If I want to hear news about how great The Last Jedi was, I know exactly where to look. Yeah, it's catered to. It'll be waiting for me. It's been a while since I was like, I haven't really heard a lot about this movie. Or I watched it a long time ago. Let's watch it again. We don't do that anymore. It's really weird.
Yeah.
Maybe we do. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not aware of it. But for me, at least, it's been a while since I've done that. And it was thrilling. I was like, I have no idea what this movie's about. Like, I have vague notions of it. Like, And it was a great time.
I think that's an important thing, especially for critics. Whether they're professional or they're not, they're like us, just making a podcast, right, where we just talk about stuff. It like we kind of have to learn to watch whatever we're watching in that critical mindset. Like, okay, what's working really well here? I really like this character development, right? Exactly. But then, like, you also have to have that side where you can just turn it off and be like, you know what? I'm just gonna watch something because it's fun. Like, I don't even know what I'm getting into. I'm not gonna sit here and pick it apart. I'm just gonna watch it.
And I feel like I feel like we've gotten a lot more critical as a people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like everything has to mean something now. You can't have any mistakes. I don't know. Like, I remember back in the day, a kid would say something stupid, and we'd all be like, "Hey, don't say that," you know. But you know, we'll let it slide. I remember a lot of that shit. Now, not anymore. Just
Well,
I don't know.
it's also kind of one of those things. It's like, hey, you said that again. Like, come on, dude. We've already told you
Yeah,
back in the day.
yeah. And it's just, I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like a grumpy old man these days. I'm just like, oh shit. Like,
Grumpy old man.
honestly, like,
Kids.
I just don't feel like. I feel like I'm 50 years old, honestly. And I know that if there's a 50-year-old listening, he's like, fuck off. You're 26. Listen, you know, that's how I feel. I don't know how to say it. And I look at these young kids, and I'm like, oh, you piece of shit. I hate all of you. Die.
So,
Like, kill
I,
yourselves. I won't feel sad.
I was listening to another podcast at work today, and
Yeah.
they mentioned that there's this rapper, Lil Uzi Vert.
Oh god.
I'm not super
Yeah.
familiar with him because I don't listen to his stuff.
I think he's 18 and he just drinks purple drink all day.
He seems
Like, I can't
kind of
be
like
wrong.
that, but he apparently started something on Twitter that was like, look, if you're 25, you old as fuck. You're lame.
Yeah, yeah. Cuz he's 18 and he's not wrong.
I mean, here I am. I'm 27. I'm still super young in my mind. Like I'm a 15-year-old in my mind.
Yeah. And to others around you.
but like, I mean, it's one of those things. I feel like he's just speaking without even knowing what he's saying. But at the same time, there's like, yeah, dude, I'm 27 and I haven't done shit with my life.
Yeah, he's 18 and he's like last time I checked, I think I saw one of his videos on YouTube. It got like what, 500 million views. He's 18.
Oh, I mean, yeah, he's one of the big
Just
like
almost a
mainstream
billion. Like
radio popular, whatever the hell these days.
no. But here's the thing though: if he's already made it and he's 18, he can't get any higher as an artist. That's a very shaky term these days. Like.
Which was also kind of something he was talking about.
Yeah.
It was something like him not signing with a record label or a DJ or something. Because if you're an artist, like you don't need
You
anyone
don't sell
else.
your soul.
Yeah, like
it's
you
just and
only
the
need
fans.
yourself. Which there's some truth to that statement, right?
Yeah. So when he says if you're 20, you're 25 or no up, you're old as fuck, he's kind of right. Because in this, we've reached a turning point where the technology is so fast and so anonymous online that it doesn't matter how old you are. Just what matters is how well you can talk your game and follow that up.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you're you know. So
I'm not
doesn't
lame.
matter how old you
So
are.
says me. Eat it, punks.
There's 13-year-olds on YouTube making hundreds of $1,000s a month. 13. And it doesn't matter how old you are anymore. It doesn't. And if you're 26, you are old. Now you're old.
Yeah.
I'm old as fuck. Like I feel old. Like I want to die. I lack the constitution for suicide. But if someone's like, you're going to die tomorrow, I'd be like, well,
That's like
I guess that's great.
90s kids. Like all 90s kids. Most millennials.
We're old as fuck now. We're closer to 30 than 20.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
We have someone joining us in the chats, and
Who is it?
26 is not old. It is Torsten. Yeah, I believe I said that correctly. Hopefully, maybe not.
Wait, is it a boy or girl?
I do not
wait,
know.
Is that a
This
relevant question
This
these
is
days? Can I ask that?
online, but yeah. I mean,
Taurus.
26 is not old. Like it's not bad at all. We still have so much time. But I think just
I don't mean by like physical age. I mean
oh
like
sure.
your head, because there's so much has happened since we were young till now that we've seen so much. You know?
Well, I think that's even debatable too, right? Like when we're 50 and we're looking back at this, being like 26 is old as hell. Uh, we're gonna be like, what in the world are we talking about? That
No,
make
no, no. I'm gonna look at my older self and be like, listen, motherfucker, I was you, so don't fuck off. Just listen to what I'm saying. I'll be like, listen, back in the 1920s or 1940s, this was your average day. You got up, you got to go to work, you read the newspaper a little, you had some lunch, I don't know, you oppressed black people for a while and then you went back home. That was it. Now it's like, oh, did you hear what the leader of the Free Nation said on Twitter to the guy who has nuclear weapons on the other side of the world? Did you hear about the hurricane and the global warmings and the Chicago fires, the California fires, and the drought and the racism and the SJWs? Now there's 80 different. Just like, Christ, like, I feel like an old man. Like, no one. This is not natural. We're not supposed to deal with this amount of information, but we are. This is like a century's worth of information all packed into 2017.
Yeah.
So we're old as fuck.
Yeah, like it. Even like when I think about the way Twitter works, right? Like you constantly have to put something out there to remain in the conversation.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you get swept up, and I think that kind of goes back to what he's saying, right? Where it's like, yo, if you're 25, you're lame, right? If you haven't said something yet, like you know, you're missing out. You're already being swept downstream, you know.
I know I sound so old, but you know what I would have given for Tinder when I was 17? Are you fucking with me? My God, I would have just
called AOL, Paul.
just you know what I mean? Anything. Like, I would have done anything. Like, but now they're doing it, and like, Jesus Christ, you have tablets and VR. I'm like, I can't keep up. I'm an old man now. Jesus.
Yeah. Ooh, so that that conversation took a weird
brought to
turn
you by
from
Serenity.
But yeah,
no,
from
not Serenity. Serendipity.
Serendipity, the rom-com to
John Cusack movies really
to Lil Uzi Vert.
Make you think.
Crazy though.
But yeah, like I said, if I'm gonna say one thing, it's we've a century's worth of information every moment, and it's not natural, and it's just, I think it's aging our brains, because our brain is like, what is this? I guess you're just getting older really fast.
Possibly, yeah.
Christ. But anyway, what was his name or her name?
Torsten.
I hope. I wish you luck. I do genuinely care about you. The fact that you listen to us is great. But I'm an old fucking man now. Fuck. My girlfriend says it all the time. She's like, "You're an old man." I'm like, "I know. Fuck off. Like, make me. I don't know."
But yeah. So what else? Like, you completely, like, this is, I think, the conversation that we've had in the history of the Captain's Log that have just gone the strangest place. Not even strange, because last week we were talking about the purring noise.
Oh yeah.
Which was completely ridiculous, but just like in a serious conversation, like, I had no idea that it would go this direction.
I mean, it's just I call it week vomit. Just like,
oh sure,
because we meet once a week for our main show, the Whatnauts, but for Captain's Log, which is connected to the Whatnauts, we also meet just once a week. So it's just like, how's your week? And I'm like, racism, and not on my part, but
technically we
missiles.
did talk about Star Trek last week.
Yes.
Horiston was asking about that.
Oh shit! How is he asking? I can't see.
He was like, I came in thinking this was a Star Trek podcast.
Torsten, I can talk to you about Star Trek. I can, because I watch Star Trek Discovery. Don't fucking walk away from me. Don't you know?
They
Don't
are still
energize out of
still
me.
engaged.
Still engaged. Bring up video.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, ask him. Can we talk to him about it?
I mean, yeah.
Let's
if
win
you
him
wanna,
over, son.
he says Discovery is amazing. F the haters.
I love Discovery. Torsten, what's up, man? Or woman, or Zimzer, whatever. It's amazing. What else are they saying?
That's it for now. Paul, you can look at the chat if you go to
Where is
twitch.tv/the Whatnauts, and
Hold on.
you can see
What
what's happening there.
What kind of host am I? What kind of fucking host am I?
Paul, yeah,
Okay.
like you need to make a Twitch account, and follow us on Twitch too, Paul, because then
I'm coming, Torsten.
then we can get 3 followers. It'll be great.
I bet Torsten hears that a lot.
They
wait.
commented that it is a great action pack show. I never know where it's going to take me. I'm
so good.
I'm sitting back seat right now. You guys have taken over the show because I still have not watched it. I don't know anything
Kyle.
Star Trek.
What do I type? I need to talk to this person. We need to engage.
Twitch.tv/the Whatnauts.
Twitch.tv/
The Whatnauts.
Torsten is like, what the fuck? Are they?
They're already watching. They're one
This
step
unprofessional
ahead of you,
fucks.
Paul.
These unprofessional fucks. I'm high. I'm disblazed, and I'm. Okay, start watching. Okay, welcome to the chat room.
There you go.
This is why I'm old.
There you go.
Ew, I'm listening
Technology.
to myself. Fuck.
This show is the future. Exactly.
God, this shows the future. Okay.
There you go.
Torsten, are you a boy or a girl? Can I ask that? Is that racist?
I mean, it's not racist.
Okay, I'm looking at this at their stuff now. This shows it is the future. You know why it's the future? Because they're taking it seriously. Each episode is like, it doesn't feel like a TV show. It's like you're watching a 12-hour movie. And a guy, but at least you didn't assume. Oh, is that Susan B. Anthony?
What?
It looks like a picture of Susan B. Anthony. He sent me a picture. Nope, never mind.
It's an emote, but that sure as hell is not Susan B. Anthony.
Susan B. Every photo of her is black and white, and she had like short hair. I don't know. Anyway, they are spending $6 million per episode. Right. Torsten's our guy. That's Kyle, this is so interesting what we're doing right now.
Paul,
Yeah,
welcome to the internet.
Kyle, remember when I told you I was like gushing? I was like orgasming with every syllable about Star Trek Discovery?
Yeah.
It's because it just looks fucking amazing. It just looks so fucking good.
So
They go all out.
6 million per episode. That's a lot. Do either of you guys happen to know where that ranks in like most expensive TV shows? Because
I mean, with Game of Thrones, they're spending like tens of millions.
Well,
per episode.
True. I heard, I want to say it was last year, like in the summer, that Netflix's show, what is it called? It's the one, it's the hip hop one.
The Get Down?
Yeah, the Get Down. That was the most expensive like TV show ever made, like per episode. And that's one of the reasons why they canceled it. It was so expensive, and it wasn't performing as well as they wanted to.
Yeah. Yeah. But you always gotta take that risk. And Torsten made a great point. There's scenes where I always get mixed up with the Vulcans and Klingons. I have like this thing in
Call
my head.
yourself a Trekkie, Paul. I don't
never
watch
did.
the show, and I know the
really never
difference.
did. But like it just like there's scenes where the main character is named Michael Burnham, amazing actress, just killing every day. But where they do the whole mind meld,
Mm-hmm.
and Torsten brought up a great point. It looks very retro, from the '60s, but with modern visuals. It's just, I don't know, Wait, was Discovery your first Trek show? That's cool. Yes, it was. Here's the thing, though. like this is so weird. I wish I could speak to Torsten and be like, listen, man. Like, well, I am, but listen, man. Uh, this is a very honest and accurate depiction of what I am as a Star Trek fan. Number one, I watched the Chris Pine movies. Zachary Quinto directed by
Oh God.
I'm a South Korean who grew up in Portugal. Okay, I have no business, with Star Trek. Not really. And I was like, this is really cool. And then I went to college and I met these white Americans, and
That's
it was
me.
a family. And they're like, we love Star Trek, and they would talk to me about the politics of Star Trek, all the
Okay, that's
history
not
of it,
me.
the lore. Yeah. And I was like, this is really cool. So in a way, I never got myself involved with the original show. But in a weird way, I traveled around it, and I saw everything that it influenced, And I never really got into the original show, but then Star Trek Discovery came out just at the right time, just when, like, I was just ready for it, The metal was hot and the hammer hit, and I was like, I'm fucking in. $6 million an episode. Look at these costumes. Look at the story. They're time traveling. They're hopping back and forth in parallel dimensions. This is incredible. So big Star Trek fan now. Like, now I totally get it. Now I'm like, okay, this is it. This is better than Star Wars, and I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Yeah, exactly. That's a great point. A lot of countries weren't exposed to it, I grew up in, like I said, South Korean in Portugal. Grew up in Portugal since like 1991. Not a lot of exposure. However, if I grew up, let's say, in Orange County or Texas, I'm sure I would have been a huge Trekkie fan, or Trekkie, But yeah, it's great that we can connect with this person that is apparently a guy and loves Star Trek, and looks to be American.
Welcome to 2018, Paul.
I don't know, man. It's crazy. It's a ride. But yeah, enough about me. What about you, Kyle? What do you?
Well, actually, not entirely different from Star Trek. I started reading some Green Lantern comics. I've mentioned to you, Paul, multiple times that, like, over the past, I want to say, like, year and a half, 2 years, I've been slowly going through some old, like, DC comics from Crisis on Infinite Earths onwards.
Ooh. Yeah.
And so I'm trying to read a lot of stuff from Crisis to like, I think, the Death of Superman story. And yeah, like, I've loved a lot of it, and I started Green Lantern like two days ago. I was like, I need to get back in and start up some of these older comics.
Can I say one thing before you go on?
Yeah, sure.
I've always thought the name Green Lantern was such a weird fucking name.
It is.
Like it's like a color and then like an object.
Yeah. Well,
so it could be like
first,
like Purple Book. Like, hi, I'm Green Lantern. I'm Purple Book. I'm Red Fire Hydrant. Like, let's do this shit. Like
and thus the Super Friends were born.
Honestly, like, it's just a color and a noun, and it's like, that's your name. At least it's, like Batman. I totally get it. Superman. I get it. Green Lantern. Oh, okay.
Green Lantern's kind of weird because it's like his golden age here, like the original, was not what we know today. Like, it's not the, like, space cop that has this, ring and lantern. It was more magic based. That he had
so
this
cool.
like magical lantern that gave him powers, and he could manifest it. I think he still had a ring, but I'm not entirely sure. But then along came the Green Lantern Corps that we know today, where they are these, like, space cops, and they're traveling to different planets, and they're trying to keep the peace and trying to just make sure things go smoothly. And
do you think that's good or bad?
In what way? That they changed it, or like that's what the Green Lantern is?
Like, they didn't even give it a chance. It was like, now you're this. Like, all right.
I mean, he's still around, like the original Green Lantern. I think he's in the Justice Society comics. If you pick up that stuff, every now and then they'll go back and do some like mini series of here's the older characters and stuff like that. So like that character still exists.
Okay.
But yeah, it didn't hold up. I guess not as interesting.
We can't
I'm
keep
sure.
around, Sonny. Your lantern's not green enough. Looks like yellow. Fuck off.
Guess maybe they wanted it to be more of a superhero thing, where instead, like, he's not just this like magician kind of thing, right? Like, what if he's a space cop? Like, what if he's more of a superhero and actually can do like some really awesome stuff?
Yeah. It's like,
I don't know.
What if his alter ego was just like a magician? He does children's birthday parties, but like literally on his finger is like the key to like immortality, and like his only obstacle is his imagination. Like,
Yeah.
that was his alter ego.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I
Anyway, about the comics you were reading, yeah.
yeah. So like I remember in Crisis on Infinite Earths, like I think you see both of them. Like I think you see the original Green Lantern, whose name is Alan Scott. But then I know you see John Stewart and Hal Jordan. I think eventually you see Guy Gardner, stuff like that. But yeah, so I started with some mini series that were actually written in the early '90s, but like retell his origin for the like post-crisis world. And those were really, really good. Those are called Emerald Dawn and Emerald Dawn 2. But then I jumped into like the actual comics from like mid 80s. I think I started in like
Here we go.
86. They are really bad right now. They are not good.
Then stop reading them, dude. Like, it's that easy.
Oh, sure. Like I this is more of a I'm wanting to go through past DC history and kind of decipher it.
Do you remember what
And-
Kylo Ren says in The Last Jedi? Let the past die, man. It's the only way to move forward.
Well, that's the thing. Like, their history is still factoring into what's happening like now in DC Comics. They're doing a whole thing called Doomsday Clock with the Watchmen and all of that stuff, and it's awesome. But yeah, like I don't know. Like it's one of those things. Like I know Green Lantern eventually is kind of one of the big, more popular characters, but like just coming out of Crisis, I am not liking that book. It is so weird. It's bad. It's terrible. It's kind of funny though.
Wait. So, like what makes it terrible? Like, are you being harsh on these guys, or is it just like, man, this is some fucking shitty writing? Like,
It's that. It's just shitty writing.
well, then why do they pay those guys back then?
Because like that's what sold. Like it was like what you and I have read in Crisis or Watchmen or all of that stuff that came out at that time and are like the big mega books. Like, oh my goodness, you need to read this. Those were on another level compared to everything else that was coming out at the time. Like you read, like something like Green Lantern, it is not on par with that at all. It's night and day.
Why can't you just like read a Wikipedia article about what happens? You don't have to read all that.
I could, but that's the thing. Like it's not as conclusive as I want it to be, right?
Well, it sounds pretty inconclusive now.
Well, I'm not telling you what happened in the history, so I'm not giving this is conclusive exclusive stuff of what happened in the DC universe. I'm just saying that the book is off to a bad start. It's really dumb.
How? Like, how is it done? Like,
So after
give some details.
After Crisis, the Guardians of the universe, who are like the small blue characters that give the Green Lanterns their powers, they disband. They're like, you know what? We've made some mistakes. We kind of need to go rethink this. So they disband and they go off. So the Green Lanterns are kind of free to patrol space how they see fit. And
Okay. That's not going to lead to any problems.
Yeah, exactly. So in short, what happens is Hal Jordan and John Stewart, who are the Green Lanterns of Earth, they go back to Earth, but then they each have their like Green Lantern girlfriends, and then like there's Kilowog, who's another very famous Green Lantern, and then there's one that looks like he's this pink alien with kind of like a long like praying mantis kind of looking face. He's stupid, and then there's basically one that's a raccoon. Like, it's literally Rocket Raccoon. Except
so
not...
it's Guardians of the Galaxy.
Except not trigger happy. Yeah, it like... I
so
think,
not fun.
I think
Just a raccoon.
They tried to maybe do a Guardians of the Galaxy thing in case it became popular, which in the comics back then it never really did. So I feel like they end up ditching this pretty quickly. But yeah, it's just like it's this like there's 8 Green Lanterns on Earth now, and
Jesus fuck.
They're like it's just the writing's not that great. It's like gee whiz, what was that? You know?
Stop reading it. Just don't read it.
I know.
You don't have to do this to yourself. Like, I wish you'd step back from the ledge, my friend.
If this was something just like a random book that I picked up and it was bad, I'd be like, oh hell no, I'm not going to continue on with this. But I've just out of personal curiosity, like I want to know like what these books were, how they went, what happened. You know, if I can start to make more and more sense of what was happening in the DC universe at that time, that's what I'm after. And the Green Lantern book is one of the major players in that book, or will become that. So I'm wanting to see how it becomes that book, if that makes sense.
I hear all this, and I got one question, man. Name me 10 superheroes in the DC universe, and then name me 10 American presidents. Go.
Let's put it this way, I probably couldn't, and I really could care less.
Like you literally know more about this fake universe than the real universe.
Yeah.
Like, but like you're an American citizen. Like, I see now why Trump got elected. I'm just gonna say it. Like, I know you didn't vote for him.
Do stuff like that, yeah.
But like, the way you're talking, I'm like, why is it? Maybe it's because I'm an old man, but you're just like, Paul, this universe is frustrating me, and I'm like, it's fake. It's just colors and ink.
Well, I had a friend of mine one time, and like we were more acquaintances, right? But he was giving me a ride back home, and this was after like a year or two of knowing him, and we had never really connected. Where it's like, dude, I get you now. You're my, you know, like now I can say you are actually one of my best friends.
Yeah.
But then I forget what it was he asked me about, but he asked me something, and it was about some movie, or you know, some kind of comic book related thing. And I think I started talking and went on for like half an hour, and then I got done, and he was just like, I get it. I know who you are now.
Exactly.
He's like, this is what you do. Like you like these kind of stories and universes, and you just get lost in them. And I'm like, yeah, that's me. That's what I like.
Fuck reality.
That's what I do. So
Reality, you mistress.
yeah.
But yeah, it's you can't always get what you want, man.
Sure.
But sometimes you get what you need.
And you've been asking why? Like, why do you do this to yourself when it's
Why?
bad?
God, what? You could go for a jog.
This, that's so much work, Paul.
So is this shit.
This is obviously not for everyone. Like, some people would have read that first couple pages and been like, oh my god, this is so bad. What the hell?
Like I wish there was some way we could like harness your stubbornness to something creative
And it's
or constructive.
it's
It is
not
creative.
even like I'm putting myself through this on everything that I do, right?
I think you should. See where it takes you.
No, I'm talking about like in terms of bad thing. Like if I start something that's bad, I've started TV shows that I'm like, I do not like this show. This is not for me. This is a bad show. Or just not for me. I'm not interested in this show. Like, I will 100% stop. Like, you have to. Like, there's just so much out there that you don't have time to sit there and wade through all of the crap that is out there.
Oh, the bullshit.
Right.
Just say bullshit.
Yeah, like there's so much bullshit, but it just there are things that I do love. I love comics. I love the DC universe. Some of their best stuff was in the late 80s, early 90s. Like, still is. And if I can kind of go back and find the good stuff, find the bad stuff, that like I feel much more confident when someday you're bored out of your mind and you're like, Kyle, recommend me a good comic book, and I'll be like, well, Paul, this one is fantastic. You like this, you like that, I got your back, and then you can be like, yo, dude, I actually really like Green Lantern. What should I read next? Oh, read this, but do not read that stuff because it is really bad. It is garbage.
You hear this, guys? This guy knows he's talking about. Just someone give him money for this now. All right. Not even talking about our Patreon, which you can do whatever you want with it. But like, this guy's got a lot of energy, and he just needs to be employed by someone who values what he values.
Yeah.
So if you're out there,
which is
you got a lot of money.
It's always super cool to me, Paul, when you come on the show and you're like, dude, I read a comic book this week. And I'm just like, oh shit, what did you read? Tell me. I want to share in the experience you had, whether it was good or bad. You're like, I read this book and it was fucking awful. I'm like, yeah? Why was it bad? Tell me. Like,
feed me negative things. No, I used to do that more, but like, and ever since I was let go of my job, I was like, you know what, like, I have time now. But then I got a girlfriend, and I was just like I love this girl. Like, she is like, I'd rather die before she trips and hurts her knee. You know what I'm talking about? I love this woman. But man, girlfriend, significant others take a lot of time out of you.
They do. That's why people get married and you never see them again.
I just, they never tell you about that in movies and shit. Where was that in Serendipity? Fuck. Because I was just like, I mean, I'm happy the entire time, but I'm like, oh my god,
disassociating from all of your friends.
We've literally laid in bed for 5 hours, and I haven't talked to my friends in 2 months. Like, and we've done nothing but like fuck and eat and fuck.
That's what happens. Yeah.
Netflix, and I'm just like, I'm so happy. I'm so fucking happy. And I'm like, I'm not getting anything done. Like, it's really hard. Like, I think happiness is the worst thing for someone who's creative. You know,
How so?
because I think it's in the. I think Philip Seymour Hoffman like says it best in Almost Famous. He's like, that's where all the best art comes from, man. When you're fucking miserable, when you're not cool,
Sure.
when you know when you say something honest, when you're not cool, and you know, like, I mean, I'm actually working on some huge art right now, and it's actually pretty good. But I can never do it when I was actually working on it yesterday when my girlfriend was sleeping.
Mhm.
You know, now today she left a bit early, and I was like, I just drew all the fucking day. I got high as shit. I just drew. But you don't have anything to talk about when you're happy. You have nothing to talk about when you're happy. You can talk about how happy you are, but that's not valuable. Not to me, at least. And I think Kyle, for you, I think if you like really fall in love, and like you're just with that person, and that person's like, let's just cuddle, and
Oh,
you know,
I've had that
yeah,
for sure.
And but it's like, you have no time for yourself
Yeah, I
because you're too busy
totally
being
know that.
happy, and you're just like, your comic books start getting all dusty. You know, I'm bringing it back to you. Like your comic books get all dusty. You know, you kind of lose who you are because you're just so caught up in being happy, and you give up trying.
Yeah,
You know,
I think that's one scenario that definitely happens. I do think a lot of really fantastic art comes from when you are, as you said, just miserable, just like
yeah,
fucking rock bottom. There's nowhere to go, and like you said, you end up becoming this person that is brutally honest, right?
yeah, yeah.
Um, but then there's stuff like this podcast, what we do on this show and our regular show. I fucking love it.
Yeah, it's
This
good.
makes me
Yeah.
so happy, and I can sit there and just talk about the things that I love, or we watch something like Canon and it's the fucking worst, and we can sit there
It's
and talk about
ugh.
how much we hate it. But I love doing that.
You like the discussion, yeah.
Yeah, and
And me
and
too, me too. Like,
I
yeah.
I I, I think I think good creative stuff can come from that energy as well, right? Like it's not like only the best stuff comes from when you're rock bottom. There is stuff on both sides.
All I know is this: I started drawing really well because I wanted girls to notice because I want to get my dick sucked. But when you have someone who's like, "I'll suck your dick whenever you want," because I like doing that, you're just like, well,
Do
I
I
don't have
really
to draw.
need to draw anymore?
Yeah, it's just like, do I need to lock myself into a room and spend hours? My hands get sore.
But see, then
You
that
know?
begs the question: were you ever doing that art for love in the first place? Like, were you making that art because you actually really loved making art?
I really don't know. Honestly, I'm not gonna stand on a pedestal and be like, I'm the fucking next Shakespeare because if I don't draw, I'm gonna die. Honestly, I'm just like, I think I'm really talented. I know how to string together composition, and I'm pretty talented in that area. Like I know it looks good. I know how to achieve it, but I'm not that tortured guy. I'm more just like, I want blowjobs, and this is how you get them. You know. And now that I've had my fill, I'm like, all right, well, let's see what's left in the barrel. Let's see who this guy really is. But for a long time, it was just blowjobs where I drew, and now I'm like,
Mhm.
I gotta figure I gotta figure out my reasons now after after I finally got the carrot. Now what?
See,
And I'm stuck in that
yeah,
place now.
like I'm so much in the mindset that I absolutely know what I love doing, what I love making, stuff like that. So if I ever find some partner that's like, okay, you gotta pick comic books or me, it's like, well, sorry there, like you can leave.
Exactly, exactly. Like, these comics will keep me warm at night. Fuck off. Exactly. Yeah.
I know who I am and what I love doing that I don't I mean, certain things will change, sure. I've experienced that even with my ex that I had.
Sure.
Certain things will change just about what you're willing to spend your time on and what you're willing to do and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, I think once you start letting that lose sight of what like who you actually are and what you enjoy, that's kind of when it becomes somewhat of a problem.
Yeah, and I'm having to discover all of that, all at once, because of lots of different reasons throughout my life. But I think you and I are in different places.
Sure.
Very, very different. You're like, I know exactly what I like. I know exactly how I like it.
I've always been that way
Yeah.
though. Like I
Yeah, yeah.
Let me ask you this. I don't think I've ever asked you this. When
Shoot.
was the moment in your life, or like what age did you know that you wanted to like study art? Like whether it was a
Uh,
light bulb moment or like, oh, it was like my third grade teacher or something like super inspired me.
I don't. I don't know. I really don't know.
You don't know?
Honestly.
Like I have a vivid memory of like the light bulb moment when I was like,
Yeah.
this, I want to do this for the rest of my
Wow.
life.
Really.
Yeah. I remember it was in like first or second grade, and I had this super cool book. I think it was one of those like how to draw superheroes, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I traced one of the images, and even though it was not like my own original work, everyone was like, "Dude, for a tracing at your age, that is fantastic! Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
holy cow!" And then like all of my friends were like, "Oh, can you make me one? Can you do that? Can you do that?" You know? And I was like, I
Cha-ching.
see how this works now. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
was like, I actually enjoy doing this. Like I don't fear the like business end of like, ah, this is so much work. I'm gonna have to, be up all night making this thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, oh, why did like 10 people ask me to do that? I actually enjoy making that stuff, and it was this moment of like, you know what, I see value in this, and I have yet to find value in anything else like math, history,
Mm.
science. I was good at them, sure. I I
Yeah.
I managed to be like a year ahead of everyone else, and my senior year in high school, I had like four art c- classes and a history, and that was it,
Yeah.
because I like was done with everything else, and it was like, well, since school's not requiring me to take this stuff, fuck it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm more like, I think I had an opposite moment from you, because you were like, "Oh, I see the value in this." That you had the light bulb moment.
Hmm.
I was more like, it's gonna sound really weird, but I was really young, and I think I was like 10 or 12. I was in the library, in the elementary library, and I read a book with rabbits in it. And, like the rabbits wore clothes. They're anthropomorphized and stuff.
Hmm.
And throughout the book, like it was like, my daddy's a fireman, my daddy's an astronaut, like my, all this shit. And then we get to the end of the book, and I swear this has to do with what we're talking about.
Right, sure.
The rabbit goes like, well, Dad. He goes to his dad, and he's like, Dad, what did you want it to be? And he's like, I don't know, I just wanted to be a dad. And I remember reading that as a child, and I was like, oh, like it was like my light bulb moment, but for like the opposite.
I
I was
don't
like,
have to be anything.
I don't have to be anything. I can just be whatever the fuck I want to be. Like, if I want to be
Yeah.
a dad, I'll just be a dad. Like, the money will come. Like, if I work hard. But like, I don't know. It was like the opposite for me. Like, I remember that moment very distinctly.
Hmm.
I was just like, oh, he just wanted to be a dad. Like, his identity was not found in his job. and that has always stuck with me. My identity has nothing to do with my job. My identity has nothing to do with, it's what I want it to be.
Interesting.
Is it, and like, hey, whoever wrote that fucking book, thanks.
Yeah.
Because now I have a podcast. But like, I don't know. Like, I guess I've never had that, like, I've never felt comfortable charging people for my art. Like, never.
It's it's a weird mix. I don't think anyone knows what to do in that situation.
Yeah, so I think what I'm trying to say is that like I have the opposite of you, where you were like, this is advantageous. I'm more like, hey, just take a chill pill.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, it wasn't even like dollar signs. Like I wasn't like, ooh, money bags. I see where this is going. I mean, because obviously there's the whole idea of a starving artist. There's not much money involved. And hey, we have someone else joining us in the chat that is saying hello. Kiki Dud One, I believe, is how you pronounce it. I could be wrong on that.
KK Dud One, hi.
Yeah.
Hey,
welcome.
KK Dud One, prove that you're a human being, please. All right.
They already are. They have responded and said hi.
What rational fucking human being chooses the? And I'm not trying to be rude. I don't want to lose you as a listener. But what the fuck does Kiki Dud mean? I'm a human. Bitch!
Sounds like something a robot would say.
That's something a robot would say. I'm a human. Or I'm a person, or like, hey, I live in San Francisco. No, I'm a human. Come on. Try harder, Keke Dud One.
We're just messing with you.
I'm not. I want you to prove you're a person. What's your horoscope, man?
But yeah, like art and money is strange, though, right? I mean, because even now, like what we're doing now, we are now streaming all of our episodes of this to everyone, whereas before, the entirety of the Captain's Log used to be behind the Patreon paywall, right?
Yeah.
And we're trying something new, but it's all right. So I just got past the episode in 6 Feet Under, where they do an art show. 6 Feet Under, by the way, is what we will be discussing on our live stream this Sunday afternoon for our regular show, the Whatnauts.
Be there. And
there's an episode where they do an art show, and they like are pricing all of the art, and they go to one character's, and it's this sculpture, and it's he marks it at $500. And then, like, one of the main character girls marks hers at 75, and she's just like, I don't think anyone wants it. Like, that's why it's so low,
Yeah.
And eventually, they all get bought up and stuff like that. But it's just one of those things. Like, she had no idea. Like, I'm putting my heart and soul into this thing. But what value does that have to other people?
Yeah.
It's strange.
Yeah. Like, who knows? Like, maybe KK Dead One is like, you know what? These guys are worth $100 a month.
That would be lovely. But
if you want to prove you're not a program,
I mean, it's it's strange to put that price tag on it yourself. I feel like. So for me, like, that moment that I had when I was younger, when I was like, fuck, I know I want to do art for the rest of my life.
Sure.
Like, sure, I saw, like, yeah, I can make opportunities off of this, and I'm sure I can make some money, but, like, I've also never been one to be like, I'm gonna make a painting and I'm gonna charge, like, I don't know, $500, and that's that.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, we can talk about it. Like, it kind of depends on how big it is, the supplies that I need, or stuff like that. We'll work something out.
Yeah. First of all, KK Dead One, man, this motherfucker sounds sketchy as shit.
No association
I'm gonna read you
with the CIA.
I'm gonna read you the 4 interactions we have of KK Dud 1. Hi.
This is great.
The I and the H is also capitalized along with the H, so it's just hi. No period. Second thing,
Who puts punctuation
I am
though,
a human,
in
no
in
period,
chat?
and the I is not capitalized. So what, did the first interaction kidnap the capital R you're supposed to? Anyway. Then they say, I'm not a program, also no period, also lowercase I. So I'm already, no one talks like this. I'm not a program, not I am not. Anyway, 4th interaction, I do not have any association with the CIA. I mean,
Technically, I do kind of.
how?
My dad
Who
used
the-
to work
what the
for
fuck
the
is going on?
CIA.
Jesus.
So
Is this your dad? I will correct my mistakes.
they have a
Man,
self-learning
oh, man.
AI. Who knows? No. Thank you for joining us on
Don't
chat.
thank him. You don't know what he
Um,
is. What
we,
it is.
We love the interaction. That's why we're poking fun. We're having a good time.
Fuck this guy. I want to know his social security number. Who is this person? What country are you from? Fuck KK Dud 1. I'm just messing. I'm messing. Hey, what country are you from? Do you drink milk?
What kind of question is that, Paul?
It's a human question. Every human drinks milk.
But you don't like. Hey, who are you? Prove you're a human. Do you drink milk?
Listen, this is our platform.
How do
okay?
you? All right, so
I'm one of the hosts.
We've already been talking for an hour, but let me ask you
give a
this,
fuck.
Paul.
Yeah.
If you ever had the opportunity, to like speak with an actual AI in person,
Yeah.
like what are the types of things that you would
man.
ask it?
I'd say some heinous shit, cause it's like you know, we made you. Like we totally are above you. Like fuck you. I'd be like, you know what I'd say? I'd be like, I bet you don't drink milk. I bet you like my buddy here, KK Dud 1, who writes milk as shit, and I'm from the sweet north. You know what, KK Dud 1? I mean AI. I'd be like, you can't drink milk, you fucking asshole, bitch. Yeah, you don't even know what taste is, motherfucker. I won't even ask him questions. I'll just
But that's
insult
like-
the shit out of it.
But like saying something I feel like you have such an opportunity to have a meaningful conversation
What
with
meaning?
this
He's more
AI.
like a child. He has no personality.
It's
AI
like,
st-
so
you have to program that shit into it.
So
it has
tell
no
me.
interactions.
do you drink milk? And it's like it does not compute.
Exactly. I'm a fucking idiot.
When all right, so when anyone brings up milk nowadays, I only think of Full Metal Alchemist.
Why?
Because he hates milk.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
always
yeah.
just like, oh God, I hate milk. Don't make me drink that.
Listen, I no longer believe KK Dud 1 is an AI, but now I think he's a piece of shit.
Whoa.
Because I'm South Korean and he says he's from the north. I don't trust this guy.
If you pour
love
milk and if you pour milk and salt on my router, my brain will collapse.
He wrote poor as in Poor. What a dumb fuck. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Rein it in, Paul. Rein it in.
It's all jokes. I just get excited when I see new people. I'm sorry. This guy's hilarious, or girl.
Yeah, it's great. We love this interaction.
I love it. I've been waiting for this shit. It's like my birthday.
Yeah. It's nice because we don't get that much interaction. So like we're always kind of like, oh my God, someone new. Let's have fun with them. Like
Right.
new best friend.
I know.
You know.
I know.
Um,
Wouldn't it be so funny, Kyle, if like one of our listeners was like total shithole, dickhole, and it was like, I'm gonna hook up the Twitch stream to like chatbot, and we're just interacting with chatbot.
I'm pretty sure they have stuff to like safeguard against that, so like bots won't spam you and stuff like that in
I don't
Twitch.
know, man.
But hey, also thank you for the follow on Twitch. I just got the email a couple minutes ago and just saw it on my phone. So thank you for that.
Dude, do you know what I just realized?
Yes. What did you realize?
If we keep getting people like this, we gotta like be on our toes the entire time. You know what I mean?
It's one of those things. Like we'll have to kind of selectively pay attention. Like I've seen. I mean, if you, Paul, you watch the Joe Rogan podcast thing, right?
Yeah.
If you watch it live and you're in that chat, I'm sure that chat is just nonstop, a mile a minute, right?
Oh God, it's just fucking
like,
horrible.
It gets to a point where you can't really, catch everything. But when we're just like two guys sitting here podcasting about nothing, it's like, yeah, sweet. Come talk with us. Be a part of this show, because that's what we want. But
can you click on their name? KK Dead One.
They have a channel. You can go follow them.
Let me see.
More
How do I click on it? I feel like an old man. God damn it.
It should. You can just go, if you click on their thing, it'll take you right to their page, if I'm not mistaken.
It's not working.
If not, you can just type it in at the end of the URL, twitch.tv/ whoever the hell you want to go check out.
Okay. Do you mind if we just like talk to KK for a while? Or did you have more you want to talk about?
I mean, I'm pretty much done. All I had was the Green Lantern stuff. Besides that, I'm still slogging along in 6 Feet Under. I have to get that done before we talk about it this weekend.
Yeah, man. It's like but like really fast. Lots of countries have a north. What country are you from? You say sweet north.
Yeah. If you did not know, Kyle, I'm from the U.S. I'm on the East Coast. Paul, you are out in Portugal right now.
Yes.
But you are from South Korea, which is why earlier you mentioned like, whoa, the north here is not all that good.
Yeah. Fuck the north. Wait, Scandinavian north? What
Sweet.
the fuck? What country are you from? What the hell's going on? Well, I mean, probably from Scandinavia, but like,
yeah,
my server is based. What the? That's funny.
There you go. I like that one.
I like this motherfucker. I'll let it slide. I like him.
You
My
got
server.
points for that one.
Oh, of course he did, or she did. Man,
Yeah.
Are you cute? Let's just ask it random questions.
Sweet. Norway.
Oh shit, we have fans in Norway.
Yeah, man.
What the fuck?
Internationally known when we're on the mic.
Oh
You know
my
what I'm
God, we're
talking about? Like, that's why I was so fascinated on our, 2-year retrospective thing. I was like, Paul, almost half of our listeners come from Japan. I have no idea if they can even understand us because we speak in English the entire time.
Yeah.
I'm sure they can get some of it, but, that just, it baffled me. I was like, whoa! Like
20 years from now, there's gonna be a famous doctor accepting a Nobel Peace Prize. Be like, how did you learn such beautiful English?
Yeah,
I listened to
the day when we get comments and responses from people in the respective industries that we're talking about, whether it be comic books or movies and stuff like that, that actually converse with us and be like, hey, I listened to your show, not just one of them, but multiple. That'd be sweet.
I listened to 3.
I'm
a fan.
Yeah, if I have listened to more than one episode of your show, I would still be like, oh my god, I'm hyperventilating.
I just came. Norway. What the Norway?
That's sweet.
Oh man, you're so fucking lucky. It's so gorgeous there.
Norway. We did.
Norway, man.
We did just have an episode we live streamed this past weekend on a manga about kind of Norway and all of that stuff up there. It was called Vinland Saga.
Vinland Saga.
That'll be out this weekend for everyone on YouTube and podcast services
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So that's kind of cool. Neat connection there.
Wait. Keket or is it Kek, like the green frog? Kek dud one.
I have no idea. Internet handles are always strange. It's hard
No.
to know how to read them there.
How old are you? When were you first booted online? Kek dud one. Oh my god, he's not responding anymore. I think our show killed it.
I was just gonna say I kind of need to get going in a sec here, Paul. I got things to do, especially for our podcast. However, if I get this stuff done, I might be back on Twitch later on streaming some video games.
Do it.
If that is possible. So yeah, I don't have a capture card, so I'll be streaming straight from my PlayStation. So you'll have my mic, but not a camera. But yeah, so that
You'll
will
have
be
my
that.
mic, but not my camera.
All
right, man.
Cool. This weekend, our episode on Vinland Saga, as I just mentioned a second ago, will be out for everyone on YouTube and as a podcast. So go check that out if you missed the live stream. We will also be live streaming our next Crunchy Peanut Butter episode this Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. If you don't know what a Crunchy Peanut Butter episode is, you will find out on that show.
I'm gonna find out.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Go check it out. We will be live streaming then. We'll be talking about it on Twitter as well. We hope to catch you guys on one of those streams down the road, but for now, thank you for joining us live on Twitch. My name is Kyle Springer.
And I'm Paul Kang.
And we are the Whatnauts.
Smoke lots of weed. And goddamn right you are. Wait. You're goddamn right.
Adios,
and
guys.
Smoke lots of weed. Smoke lots of weed.
That
Bye.
was a train wreck.
I don't care.